Hey guys, it's Matt Hanham here and welcome to the Amplify Your Business podcast. Okay, it's Matt Hanham here and welcome to the second episode of the Inside Out subset episode of my podcast to amplify your business. So if you caught it last time, Inside Out is going to be a just quick sort of micro series, I guess, where I just pull out 2 or 3 points of something that's in my diary or something that's come up during the week or someone that I've met, and just a chance for me to maybe give you some insight into what we're doing and why. And this is the second one, so it's really weird talking to myself and not having a guest on the show. But lucky Steph is in the room at the moment, although it might not be for too long. So at least there's someone around, and it doesn't feel that awkward. So the first one. Oh, by the way, if anyone has any topics or something they want me to talk about or consider, then definitely shout out to me on any of the socials or just leave me a note somewhere. Matt J. Hanham, MATTJ Hanham, HANHAM, and hit me on Instagram, Facebook, wherever you like, and let me know what you want me to talk about. So the first point that I have here is actually a video that I created last year, and basically the statement goes, you wouldn't leave someone waiting in your reception. Why ignore them online? So this is for business owners and, people that are fresh to social media for business. Like, I completely understand the hesitation and it's just a whole new skill set and understanding a new platform, and it's a new way of doing business. But the truth is, like, if people leave messages on your Facebook page, if they send DMs to an Instagram account, or if they tweet at you or to you or about you, you really want to be in that conversation. And I think that the analogy to bring that back is, if someone was standing in the reception of your business, would you really not attend to them? And there's actually 3 levels. And the thing that I see done so wrong is that you can ignore them. Or a lot of people start doing social media for business and they start just doing very salesy sales posts, and they started attacking them, and they're like, buy, 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 buy. And that doesn't work either. And if there was a real human standing in front of you in your reception room, would you do that? No, you wouldn't do that. So when someone walks in the front office, you go, how are you going? And you proceed to have a conversation, learn a little bit about them, find out what they want, and see if you can deliver value as a business and as people. And why don't we do that when we translate that into digital platforms? We do it on the phone. We'll generally do it if someone was to send a letter, and we'll definitely do it in person. So when you go to Facebook, Instagram, these are just new communication platforms for your business to basically get in touch, or for your clients, customers, people who are potential customers, to get in touch with you. And yeah, you wouldn't leave someone waiting in your reception room. So why would you ignore them online? Have a good think about that. Have a think about your business, and is this your approach? It's a very common approach, and it's easily understandable. I get why I get why you're finding it difficult. Whose job is it to respond? All these things need to be worked out, but this is a new platform, and this is the way that people want to communicate with you. We all have our phones attached to our hand at all times. This is how we communicate, and this is where your customers are, and it's where you need to be. So that was a little rant from last year, and I just noticed that it had come up a couple of times in conversations this week, and I thought I would share that on the podcast. So what do you need to do? I mean, maybe just as simply as you want to set up a messenger bot and at least create some automated opportunity for anyone that visits your, say, Facebook profile to quickly gain some information, or maybe you need to assign someone in your business. Maybe it's a salesperson, or maybe it's a reception person, or maybe it's just you. But have a think about it. If you were calling a business today, would you expect them to answer the phone? I know I would. And very, very soon, we're all going to, as consumers, expect someone to talk to us from a digital platform, and from all digital platforms, more or less straight away or very quickly. So what do you need to do for your business? Okay, the second point that I had is basically why well, it has here, why are we running an event for entrepreneurs? So some of you will know, some of you won't, that we're running an event in Perth, Australia, called Get Amplified, and it's on the 30th of October. And whilst we've stacked up some amazing speakers, and I think I mentioned it in the last Inside Out episode, the question that's been asked of me is why are you doing this? Why are you trying to pack 250 people into a room and bring speakers over and share this sort of the future of digital marketing with everyone? Like, how does that align with your business and what you're doing? Because obviously we have a lot of clients, we assist people in social media and content creation, but the question is why? Like, your business is growing, it's successful, what are you doing? And the core of that actually comes down to our mission as a business, and certainly a big part of me and what I want to achieve in business and in life. And if you go to our mission statement, it states that we want to enable people to amplify their business online. So the key word in that is people. Like, where we're most focused and what we want to do is to help people, not necessarily the businesses itself. I mean, we run and help a lot of businesses that are bigger businesses, and obviously they have stakeholders and shareholders and employees and everyone else involved. But what we're compelled to do is, and what I'm certainly compelled personally to do, is to help people, because I want to see people live the lifestyle that they want to live. And I don't mean like fancy cars and jets, and I just mean to be in control. Like, how many people are tied to a job that they hate, or tied to, whether that be because they're trying to get their daughter through or into competitive gymnastics, or whatever your reason is. Like, people are tied and compelled to work in certain jobs or do certain things. And I just truly believe that there's so much more, and especially most small business owners. And let's look at the stats. Like, I think within 5 years, something like 95% of small businesses are failing in Australia. So most people just genuinely don't make it. So I'm inspired, and what does inspire me is the ability to try and help people to take a bit of control in their lives, and to help people, literally take control in their lives, find out what's important to them, and to deliver, on their goals, their dreams, their passions, and the same thing for their families. And so that's why we did this, because a lot of what we do for clients is just not accessible for this very small micro businesses and people that are getting a start. It's just, it can be too expensive. It can be just too difficult and complex to manage for a small business at times. We do have a lot of small businesses, and some work and depending on industry and what these things look like. But what our high level products just don't align to small business. So what we needed to do to really fulfill our mission is to start to bridge that gap. And this event is the first thing, and what will follow in 2019 is some additional training and other activities, because what we really want to do is work on amazing higher level accounts as well, and then try and share as much of that knowledge into the small business network. And we're in Australia. I mean, we're driven by a substantial amount of small businesses. We have trade-based businesses. We just have all sorts of small businesses, micro businesses, freelance businesses, and I love it that way. I love the ability to be in control of your own destiny. And that look, control is a funny thing. I mean, just because I'm supposedly in control of what I do day in, day out, I mean, my clients, my staff, there's many, many expectations. There's many, many responsibilities. And look, you actually end up working an awful lot harder. And if you ask anyone that's been self-employed or running a company, you find that you work incredibly hard. It's just different. You are in control of what you do. And if you need to be, certainly if I need to be at an athletics carnival at 2 p.m. on Tuesday in October, I can be there and I can work around it. So that's sort of what I consider freedom. And that freedom is what I want to help. I want to help other business owners, particularly that large contingent of people that start a business. They've got past the barriers, they've got past the fears, they've started this business. How do they get past a year? How do they get past 3 years? How do they get into 5 years? I mean, can they make it to 10? What is it that, they need to be able to extend the life of this business and their business? And there's thousands like it. And for me, in the next decade, probably 2 decades, I just see that this digital change, innovation platform, and certainly marketing, communication, and sales that is happening online is the answer for so many. It's not how amazing they are at building a deck. It's not how good they are at cleaning homes. It's not whether they're the most amazing graphic designer. It's can they articulate that to new clients. It's can they get their existing clients to articulate how good they believe they are, because they need referrals. They need to get the voice out, and they need people to be champions of them and their brand so they can succeed. So that's that. I'm very passionate about enabling people to amplify their business. And this is why we've chosen to run this event. It's a whole day event. It's packed with 8 speakers. And if you want to find out more, you can just check it out. Even if you're overseas or wherever you are, I know we have plenty of US-based listeners, but check it out. It's at getamplified.events. And we're looking to run these annually. And I just want to build the event that we can do annually in Perth. And it's the event I feel like we need. I feel like there's events out there, but we can really bring a new level of event in with some new speakers and really bring the skill sets and the learnings down into my hometown of Perth. So that's that. Okay, the final point that I have here is that, what have I got here? Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat. None of these platforms matter. So what does that mean? What I mean by that is it's easy to say, or think, look, I've missed the boat on Facebook. I've missed the boat on Instagram. I never really got into Snapchat. Oh, hang on, Instagram stories has hurt Snapchat. These are all just excuses. They're excuses that I've told myself many times. I'm sure you've probably told yourself, and we're like, oh, it's too late. We'll wait for the next one. Well, the next one never comes. And the reason why it doesn't matter and none of these platforms matter is because at the heart of these platforms, you need to create content. Now, if you don't know what that looks like, that means blog posts, that means social posts, that means audio, whether that's podcasting or audiobooks or audio snippets, that means videos, vlogging. This is all content. Now, none of this is going to change. It's always going to be written word. It's always going to be audio. It's always going to be video. There's always going to be photography, animation, AI, all these. There's variants and there's obviously different niches within all of this. But at the end of the day, if you have a business or a personal brand or whatever it is that you have or do, the most important factor is being able to create content. Now, once you create content and you get in the habit of creating content and you're capturing content, so you can either document things like it's a documentary, or you can film a game, or you can create like humorous videos or interesting topics or creative crime podcasts. I mean, there's all sorts of ways you can do this, but what you need to do is make content, because once you get to that stage, the platforms won't matter. So what I mean when I say the platforms won't matter is that it's even the platforms themselves constantly change. So what worked 3 months ago has slightly evolved. What works now is very different to what happened 12 months ago, and maybe it's on a different platform like Instagram, and originally it was on Facebook. You have to get in the game. You have to get in the game and you have to start figuring out how to make content. And for those that are making content, myself included, all I'm thinking about every day is how can we make more And how can we make it easier? And how can we make, I guess, what we call pillar content pieces? So like large volumes of content, like for example, this podcast, which we can then leverage out and make lots of other content. So as an example, I'll record this podcast for maybe 20 minutes. And in doing so, I will have created probably a handful of quotes. And whether I've directly articulated that quote or not, it doesn't really matter. The point is that I've actually created a quote that can be fleshed out and finished off, and can be used on an Instagram post. Or right now, there's a camera pointing at me, and there's some content there that can be used. And that might not be the full 20 minutes with a camera on me, but what it is it might be a bit of B-roll, or that's used on some other video doing some other purpose. So I'm always looking at how we can leverage what we do, because creating content, like trying to create funny videos or create things, it can take a lot of time. And as businesses, we just need to figure out how to create more and more and more content to, I guess, show our authenticity, show off the people. And that's really going to be form a big part of the purchasing decision for so many people. Is why buy from you? Why would I buy from you, and why would I buy from you over, let's say, your number one competitor? Well, if I can see a connection with people that work in the business and we've got similar interests, let's say we all love the footy, or we all go cycling on the weekend, I build rapport at a level beyond the other business, and that's what will win the business. Content is the most important factor. Even though it's the most difficult and it's the most subjective, it is the most important factor. All these platforms are just the way to facilitate it. It's no different. Audio back in the day was just a telephone. So we'd use the telephone and we'd call. And now we can call, but we can also send a voicemail. Now we can send a voicemail, and I think soon we'll be able to just send little voice messages to people and they'll be able to collect them. And we already can, but we'll start to use that technology a lot more. And we'll just need to master that platform. But what hasn't changed is the audio. So the difficulty for businesses is, what is new for them is capturing data. Like back in the day, someone might create a video ad. Back in the day, someone might create a radio ad. Or you'd create a print ad, and that wasn't necessarily a full representation of everything that happened in the business. It was really just a crafted image and set of information around a product, or some copy around a product and why you should buy it, and around, say, features or benefits, or around pain points or what it looked like. So now the game that's actually changed and is the content game. What people are doing is focusing on the platforms and why they should be there and how they should tweak that and what they should do here. And the truth is, what they need to focus on and think about and improve is, how do they make more content? Just because they make content doesn't mean it has to get put out that day. Just capture what you can, figure out how to craft that into interesting, palatable, consumable content that adds value. It might add value because people are learning something. It might add value because they can understand what something might look like if it was, say, new tiles for their home. But it might also just add value by being humorous. I mean, there's all sorts of things that we can bring to the table. So please don't think about, I'm not on Facebook, or I'm not on Instagram, or I'm not on Twitter, or why would I do that? None of those statements actually matter. What matters is how to figure out how to create more content. So, and we're lucky now because, back in the day, people would just write a book. And when I say just write a book, like, I think I've not achieved that feat yet, although it's something I hope to do in the near future. But writing a book is a huge feat. You've got to get how many probably 50 to 100,000 words out on paper. You've got to edit it, review it. It's not as hard as making a 2-minute video. It's not as hard as recording your first 2 to 3 podcast episodes for 10 or 15 minutes. We really are blessed with the technology that allows us to create content, and we have so many opportunities to get that content to people and just share who we are, what we do, why we do it, and that we're available if they need help or want something, want to buy a service or buy a product. So that's it. None of the platforms matter. Please just try and create some content. If you're not, start today. pick up your phone, point it at yourself, press record, just do something. And if you are creating content, like what can you do to 5 times that in the next 60 days? Just set yourself a challenge to see if you can work out how you can take it to the next level. So that's it for today. I'm going to try and do this every couple of weeks and just give you 2 or 3 points of things that are on my mind, things that we're thinking about. We're really pumped for this event that's coming up, and to be honest, I'll probably talk about it in the next 1 or 2 of these Inside Out episodes. But it's been a lot of work. It's been a new challenge. Even though we've advertised and helped people run events and marketed events before, it's always different when it's yours, and there's a lot of fun to share. So until next time, I will speak to you soon.